All right, this here is the sort of first dungeon for my new campaign. I just sat down for the last 2 hours and put it together on Twitch. I streamed it live. I had a couple guys who decided to watch. It was really cool. But this here's a little video describing exactly what I did, just to give a brief summary about what I did here. And if you're interested in it, you can go watch the video, the whole like 2 hour stream if you really want to. But if you just want like the cliff notes here, this is it. So I just put this dungeon together from scratch in this brand new campaign I'm starting called the Dragon of Argon Mountain, which is just sort of a inspired by the new starter module, the was it the Ice Peak, the Dragon of the Ice Peak Spire or whatever it is. And I decided, that's a really cool idea. Let me not read any of it because I like doing my own stuff and sort of build something similar to that idea. And so this is my first dungeon, the first encounter. This is where I'm going to drop my new players in. Should I run this for someone? Right now I'm just doing this because I really like to I want to stream and I really like building D&D stuff, so I'm doing this all at the same time. And this here I'm just going to go over what I did in the last 2 hours. So you see this map. I built it with Dungeon Painter Studio. You can see right here I put it together pretty quickly. And I built it just to have the player start off here, have a little encounter in every little room here, and I moved it over to Fantasy Grounds, and this is where I sort of decided where the encounters would be. And I designed this dungeon for my players to start out at first level, go through it, and then by the time they're done, they're gonna have some magic items, and they're going to be at second level once they finish this up. And that first level encounter is just going to be a little 4 kobold thing. If I have 4 players, it's going to be 4 kobolds. It's going to be 1 kobold for every player, for every PC, essentially. And they're going to come in here. It's going to be the first initial encounter. They're going to have the 3 doors, and they've got 3 directions to go, and they've got 3 different things. That 3 different, nice little magic loot things here. But I think what I wanted to do was have a little bit cool little magic trinkets each time when I came in here. So whoever gets the last kill in these 4 kobolds in here, I'm gonna have them roll on a table, and I'm probably gonna have them maybe not on magic item table, maybe one of the Xanathar ones. I think I'm gonna have them, probably on the common table. Let's see, one of the common tables, there's like 3 or 4 of them, and they're gonna roll something like 46 or something, and they're gonna have some cool spyglass, something cool and intricate. Maybe I'll like move it up or down a little bit, but I'll give them some cool little trinket from here. Maybe I'll do some art items, some of that loot stuff they can sell for money. But they'll fight the little kobolds in here. They'll move on. Say they go left. They're going to go down to the left corner. There's going to be 3 kobolds in here. Maybe they're all sleeping. Maybe I'll have them roll little stealth checks as they're coming through here. If they're new players, they're probably just going to stomp through. Maybe I'll prompt them, hey, are you guys being quiet as you're walking through this little corridor down here? And they're like, oh yeah, we're probably being a little quiet. I'm like, okay, we'll roll stealth. And they'll probably fail unless they don't have someone with heavy armor or a splint or a scale mail walking through here. And the kobolds are going to be alerted to the other side. But if they're experienced players, they might be like, yeah, we're just going to send the rogue. He's going to go through. He's going to look through the door. It's not locked. So, and he's going to see like the 3 sleeping kobolds in here, and they can get the drop on them. It's going to be a nice, cool little encounter, sort of introduction to new players to stealth if they want it. And there's no door here, because as they go to the north, I'm going to have a little brass wormling in here. Because, there's already kobolds in here. Why not throw something else dragony in here as well? And brass dragon wormling isn't particularly really strong, except he's got that fire breath, right? That can be really dangerous. So initiative can determine how tough this fight is. But there's some good loot in here, right? So a first level party can fight this and win this fairly easily, but it could also be a really deadly encounter. So they've got some good loot in here, right? I put a sword in the wall here. I think this is going to be like a moon touch short sword or a moon touched long sword, right? Depending on what a fightery character might want. Maybe they don't have some sort of fighter or paladin or barbarian who wants to use a sword. Maybe they have a rogue who just wants a short sword, right? At the worst case scenario, it's just more loot for them to carry out. And then they'll have like, a little chest with gold. I'll probably have them roll on the table again, but probably like the basic DMG table A and just get one of the potions or spell scrolls or something, as well as some loot. I'll probably have them roll some D10s and say, yeah, you get 110 gold in the little chests after they kill the wormling. Great, great, awesome. Down the right side here, it's going to be a mostly empty room, maybe some moss and stuff. And if they're being smart, see this is where if they're brand new players, I hope to teach them that you got to be watching out for from traps or monster dangers. Right here in the right corner, we're going to have some poisonous snakes, and they're not just sitting out on the floor. They're going to drop from the ceiling through little crevices. Right. So if they're experienced players, they should be doing this themselves. But if they're new players, I'm gonna be like, hey, all right, yeah, as you come in here, give me, whoever's leading, give me a perception check. If they roll a 15 or higher, I'll be like, yeah, you see like a snake tail, like poking out of one of these holes, one of these crevices in the ceiling, these small thin holes, and they'll see the snakes. They won't get surprised by them, and maybe they'll have some cool idea of how they're going to get past them. But if they roll between a 10 and a 14, I'll be like, okay, you don't see the snake, but you see like little like crevices and holes. So maybe it's an unstable ceiling. I'll tell them, or maybe like rats and stuff come like will fall out of there. Something I won't specifically say snake, but I'll also hint to them, hey, there's something here. And if they're less than 10, well, they're just screwed. They don't see anything except moss on the walls. And if they really want to find some loot in here, it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna moss on the walls. Maybe I'll have some sort of special, herb or something that they can make a nature check and see if they get. Otherwise, there probably isn't gonna be any loot in here, right? The snakes will fall, or they'll burn them out. However, they're gonna solve this, whether fighting or intuitively. They'll beat this. They'll go through the door here and they'll see the spider web in the wall, and they'll come into the spider den on the right hand side, where we're gonna have some giant wolf spiders here. And the wolf spiders are pretty tough. They got 11 health. I think this might be a tougher fight than here, right? The wolf spiders do a decent bit of damage, not as much as the dragon breath, but they're also not as strong. They have they're low armor class. They have more total hit points between the three of them. So if they're new, I might drop this down to 2. If they're experienced and they're just running this dungeon fine, I might bump it up to 4. I probably won't change how much XP the encounter is worth because I want them to be 2nd level by the end of this dungeon. But we'll have them fight some spiders here, and then roll on the table again. Right? I don't want them to. They're not going to be. There's not going to be any gold in here. I'm going to have them roll a D100. Whoever gets the last kill will do it again. And I don't know. I'll pick another table, or maybe the same table, depending on what they roll. Maybe I'll use all the tables. I'll look at every single option. Maybe he rolls a staff of adornment, but no one uses a staff. Maybe I'll look at something else. I'll check another table. For this one here, and it's like, oh yes, shift weave. Oh yeah, that looks cool. Maybe I'll give them that instead, and have another loot roll. But then we'll have that little branch done. We'll go through the main double doors, and they'll go into this open area where it's just a pit. It looks like just a pit with 10-foot, little jump that most characters should be able to get across. If your strength is 10, you can jump. You can make a running jump and jump 10 feet. And you can make it across here, right? So if they're a brand new party and they're kind of weak and stuff, I'll just probably leave it at that. They can also see the ladder that the kobolds use sitting on the wall up here, right? So they can see how the kobolds get across, and that they could maybe grappling hook across, or just have one person jump across and then grab it. But what I think I'm going to do is, since this is an easy jump, I'm going to grease this edge here. So when whoever jumps across, I'm gonna have them make a dex save, and probably make a DC 12 or so, about there. And if they fail, they fall down into the pit. And if they fall down into the pit, they'll probably take a D10 of damage. It's only a 10-foot pit. It's not a whole lot of damage. If it didn't have spikes, it would just be a regular D6 because you take a D6 of damage for every 10 feet you fall. But it's got spikes down here. They're probably gonna hit you too. So I'll just do 1d10. I would have done 2d2 or 2d10 if they were a higher level, but that might kill someone. That might just straight up kill a PC if I roll 2 10s on there. So just be 1d10, right? That's guaranteed not to kill someone. It might knock them unconscious, but it won't immediately kill them. So I think that's good there. And then I don't know. They're probably gonna solve this some other way. If they inspect the pit, I'll probably make another DC 15. Or maybe even higher. spotting grease, 10 feet away, that far away is pretty hard just by look. Or I might describe something like, oh yeah, it looks like it's wet on the other side, so it might be slippery. Maybe I don't explicitly tell them it's grease. Maybe I just hint that, oh yeah, there's some sort of liquid on the other side, like it's just wet. And they might assume, oh, it's going to be slippery or something. Or they might just assume that it's nothing, not to worry about it. But they'll get across here, and then they'll open the doors into the main room where we got the final encounter with the Kobold Sorcerer, which I've sent them to fight. And the Kobold Sorcerer is just is more or less a typical Kobold. He's got some Kobold minions to go be fodder for him as well. But he's got some extra health, so he survives at least, a round or two. And he's got some cool spells. He can throw Burning Hands if he wants. He can command someone if he wants. Yeah, if a barbarian's getting close to him, just command him, hey, grovel or something. And just get on your knees, and then he'll have a round where he's getting destroyed by the minions up here. I'll probably give him mage armor for the fight if they make enough noise out here. And he's got sleep as well. All sorts of cool things I might use to fight. But that's pretty much a dungeon, right? They're going to roll for loot. I might also hide another little opportunity for a loot roll in here, right? They want to search around for hidden areas. I'm like, okay, yeah, give me another investigation or perception, right? Have them roll around. They find under the bed another little like hidden trove, or they find another chance to roll on top of whatever the gold I'm going to put in the chest here, or the random magic item, right? Sometimes I like to pre-plan all of the different magic items and stuff. And I generally will, the higher level I get, because eventually, everyone should have some magic items. I don't want there's to be like 8 magic swords they just have for no reason, right? The druid needs something as well, so does the wizard. I might start skewing it that way, but for the first dungeon, only a handful of these things might be immediately useful to them. So rolling randomly just for cool looking and sounding loot is fine. Roll for the chest, they'll get the gold as well. They might find some more potions if they're more diligent around here. And that's the dungeon. It's super simple, super straightforward. And the sum of the encounters experience is not quite enough to get a 4-man party up to second level. Which is why I also gave them the little quest, the Kobold Dungeon. So when I tell them, hey, yeah, all the party members for this new campaign I'm running, you're all gonna go. The thing is, you're all coming to this mountain because this dragon on the mountain has hordes and dungeons, hidden everywhere across the mountain, and you guys are here to go steal that treasure, get that loot, get that money. And you guys, before they even started playing and made their character, tell them you're gonna go. You found that the Kobold Sorcerer lives in a dungeon, and he has loot here, and you're gonna go there, kill him, and take his loot. That's the goal, and that's the first session. And this is probably a 2-session dungeon, right? For an experienced team, they could probably get through it all in 1 session in a quick 4 hours, right? If they got their characters already. If it's a new players and stuff, if it's a new group, I might have them all make their characters the same session. That might take a bit, right? If they don't know how to do it, they're new to Fantasy Grounds and stuff. And this might be a 2-session dungeon, which is fine. That's fine. But I want them definitely to at least get to play with their new characters when they make it that same session. So I definitely want to have this ready for this first session. But I don't think I'm going to need any more for this. I think this is a really good first level dungeon that is going to be enticing. It's going to give them cool, intricate magical items and some good money and loot. So they can think, what am I going to spend this on? They can go back to a town, which I think we're going to build next time, and spend some of that money. Maybe and maybe find some cool new stuff to do. But I appreciate if you stopped and listened to this whole thing. If any of this is interesting to you, I'm glad. That's why I'm making this a cool, interesting, and at least inspiring things, right? You might not want to use this exact thing, but if anything in here sounds cool, like putting grease at the end of your spike trap so that, yeah, it looks like an easy spike trap, but you slip and fall, or you might slip and fall. If that sounds cool and you want to use that, or you want to start rolling for land, anything that you were inspired by, I just really appreciate that you stuck through and watched the whole video. And hopefully next time I'll have some more.